How's it going, guys? How all are doing? Welcome to a brand new video tutorial from Udemy. Today we are going to talk about a really advanced topic on the JavaScript world, or the ES6 and ES5 and ES Next, which pretty much 7, 8, 9, whatever ES Next coming word. So yeah, we're going to talk about the async and await keywords, how we can use them asynchronously, or how to run synchronous code on the JavaScripts on the Nodejs pretty much, and how to work with generators, the JavaScript advanced generators, how to use them on your own sake, and what the hell we mean by a generator if you have never worked with them or you have never heard by them before. So I'm just gonna jump and run this. So all you're gonna need to do is a Node.js compiler. Make sure to have a Node.js compiler started on your machine, whether you're running Linux, Mac OS X, or Windows, and also you know the basic stuff about JavaScript. Also, I'm gonna need to use right in this video tutorial the promises. So you're gonna need to go ahead and jump into the website and just search for the promises. I have a full dedicated video on how promises actually work, how to use them instead of callbacks, and the major differences between callbacks and promises on your code bases, and how you can use them efficiently pretty much. So make sure to go ahead and check it out before starting today's video tutorial. Let's go ahead and start by creating a function right here in order to explain how async and await pretty much works in a very basic and a nutshell way. So we're gonna need a function. This function is gonna be like a promising. So this function is gonna pretty much return a promise. So we're just gonna do like return new promise, which initiate a new instance of a promise. Promise, as you know, it takes two major methods, which are the resolve and then pretty much the resolve and the catch, or the rejects, not the catch. And the rejects methods or the functions, which resolve means successfully resolved and rejects means there was an error, so you can throw an error, and so on and so forth. Now what we're gonna need to use the set timeout function, which pretty much gonna allow us to run a specific function or specific callback on a specific duration of time. So after 4 minutes, run something, or run this callback, or do whatever. So in this case, I'm just gonna console log, or not console log, I'm just gonna resolve this promise. So resolving this promise, passing it whatever value you want to get it resolved with. So I'm just gonna get what promised or something. I don't know, think about whatever. So get us promised in here, and we're gonna just give it a timeout or a timer number, and let me just go ahead and run 4 seconds. 4 seconds seems a really decent amount of time. Now this is the function, this is the promising. Actually, or unfortunately, right now async and await works only with promises, so it works pretty great with promises. So you can't use it without promises or something, so you have to use it on a promises word. So if you have some fetching API or a fetching function that goes into a server, try to fetch some data from the server, then returns this data. So as you know, the data or fetching the data gonna take a little bit of time, so that's why you need to use the async and await in order to wait asynchronously. So let me just go ahead and show you how you can use it the old way without async and await. So this is the function. We're gonna have another function. So old get it. So we're just gonna call it get it right here. So this get it just gonna call the promise and try to resolve it or whatever. So think of the promise as an API we want to fetch data from. So the old get it, we're just gonna do, we're just gonna run the promise in, and as you remember, it's a function. So we need to call the function, and the old way we have to call the then callback, or the then method, then register a callback to it. So this callback gonna take the results they're gonna receive. That's what we have put it right here, and so that's it. And it's just gonna have a catch if there is any error. So this is the old way we have used on. If there is any error, just gonna run something, whatever. So yeah, this is what we basically do. So as you can see in here, we have sorry for this. So we have promising, then results, and you have the catch error. So this is how we use it. We have to call the then or the catch methods and pass in specific callbacks to them, so they would run whenever the promise is either resolved or rejected. So this is how we use it the old way. Let me just go ahead and continue that. So the console log, let me just go ahead and console log the result, and we can see that by just calling the old get it. So old get it, and we can just do the old get it right here, save it, and let me just go ahead and pull off a terminal. So I'm gonna run Node.js in here. So src or whatever I'm putting this. So I'm just putting under the main.js, and I'm gonna run the Node compiler right there in order to compile this. You can use a browser or whatever, but the Node is the best example to show in here. So as you can see, wait 4 seconds, and it's just gonna run that. So if you run that, it waits 4 seconds. You can count that down, and after the 4 seconds has been elapsed, you're just gonna like resolve this and console log this way thing. And this is like the old way. We have to assign the callbacks to it, which looks pretty ugly, as you can see in here. So a callback, nested callback inside another nested callback, and so on and so forth. It's really hard to read, especially if you have like a lot of callbacks inside of a lot of callbacks, and so on and so forth. So it's gonna be like really hard for you to read it, or if you try to share it with other people, deploy it to GitHub or whatever. So it's gonna take a lot of time to understand it and read through it efficiently. While using the async and await is gonna like help you a lot. Now, for like running a function with an async and await API, what we're gonna need to do, so before like declaring the function, what you can do is like type in the async keyword, which is gonna tell the compiler that we are going to create an asynchronous function in here with JavaScript. So then call the function normally, then you give it like, let me just go, I'm gonna call it the getIt function in here, the new getIt. And what you need right here, so since you're gonna like resolve something from here, so the resolve is just gonna like return that's get what promised. So we need to like store this in the results, and we say the await keyword in here, which is gonna wait for a promise to get either resolved or rejected. So here we're gonna give it the promising method. So this promising method, as you know, we're just gonna like return a promise. So the await takes whatever something, it's just gonna return a promise, or you can just go ahead in here and assign a new promise to it and resolve it or whatever. But it's just gonna, as you know, gonna use it using the function that we have created up there. And it takes a promise in here, it waits for it to get resolved as in this case, or rejected, and it's just gonna like immediately return whatever value it gets resolved with or rejected with. Then you can check for this value, so you can go ahead and console log in this one, and you can just go ahead and console log the results. Now removing the old getIt, and I'm just gonna go getIt, save it right there. Let me just go ahead and clear that out and run the Node.js again. So as you can see, waiting 4 seconds as the same as the old way, and then get what promised. So pretty much they work the same thing. The only difference, the major difference in here, as you can see how cleaner that code is. Only 2 lines of code can do the job, can do a hell of a lot of job for you, can help you a lot just by skipping all of these nesty callbacks inside all the callbacks, and then the ugly then methods and the catch and all of the different things and the parameters and stuff like this. You can just like take all of that, shorten it into a really like simple small lines of code into results, await, and give it the promise, and that's it. So this result gonna hold either the actual resolved value if it's resolved, or the actual rejects value if it's rejected, the error pretty much. So this is all you're gonna need to do with the await. So make sure to go ahead and like set the async before the function keyword, then just go ahead and do the await before calling the actual promise in here, or before executing the promise, and this is it. So all you're gonna need to do, that's it with the async and await. So as you can see, it's very clean. You can share with other people, you can do a hell of a lot of things with it. Now there's also one other major feature or major difference between using the old way right here and using it the new way right here. So as you can see, the same results we get, like no problems. It waits 4 seconds, then execute that, or wait for a second, then it resolves with no problems. The same thing, both of them waits for seconds, then resolve, and do all of the things. As I told you, this one is cleaner as the old one, but there is other major thing. So the await version in here, which I'm gonna call it the second version. The second version, what it does, whenever it reaches the await keyword line, what it does, it's just gonna like wait for this. It's just gonna stop the execution at this right line. So it's not going to move on into the next one till the promise is gonna be either resolved or rejected afterwards. It's just gonna like move and keep executing whatever comes afterwards. So it's not gonna like run the next line after the await till the promise is completely resolved or rejected. So this is the case for this one. But this one, it's just gonna like go run the then, just take this callback, register it, then register the catch callback, and run whatever it comes before. After that, then whenever the promise has been resolved or rejected, you're just gonna go ahead, look into the registry, grab the actual listening callbacks or the register callback with the specific then and catch method, and just gonna like run these callbacks right away for you. So to demonstrate that, so let me just go ahead and console log. So running this first, And as you can see, let me just go ahead and copy this one, and let me just go running this last, so just you can clearly understand what's going on. And let me show you the old way right here before showing you the new way, so you can clearly tell what's the difference between this and that. And as you can see, we get running this first, we are running the old one, we run that first, then we wait 4 seconds, then we run the callback. So as you can see, what it does, it's just going to read through all of that. As I told you, register the callback, register the other callback, run this one, and run whatever comes afterwards. And then whenever the callback has, or whenever the promise has been resolved or rejected, it's just going to fetch the callback and run it, and so on and so forth. Otherwise, or on the other hand, what it does, it's just going to like stop on this line, no further more execution till the promise has been resolved or rejected. It won't like do anything. So let me just show you that by running the new async and wait. So if you have a code you want it like to be synchronous, what does it mean? It's just going to stop till a very specific process is completed, then it's just going to move into the other process, and so on and so forth. So this is what I mean by the actual synchronous code instead of the asynchronous. So you see, it gets what promised, we get the actual value in here, the actual result in here, we log it, then we run the console log, not before that. So we only wait for a second, we do all of that, then we run this code, which is the last thing going to be run, as you can see running last. So this is how it works. In a much clearer and faster way, and how the async way is running synchronously instead of like this really bad nasty callbacks. But this one still have a really beneficial way in some cases when not using promises or something, or in a very specific particular cases. But right now what you need to know, or what you need to do, just go ahead and move on into the new way, which is the async and wait. Now we have the next thing, which are the generators. So the advanced topic about generators on JavaScript, they're not used that much of thing, but you're still gonna need to learn about them because they are very, very important. And also you're gonna like create, or you will be able to create your own iterators. Like remember, there's the for iterator which iterates on a specific array or something. So you can type an array in here, and from like 1 to 10, so on and so forth, just gonna iterate all of that, the different things. You can create your own iterator for your custom data types like the objects and stuff. So you can do this. So a generator pretty much is a function. So to declare a generator, you call the function, then you give it the asterisk symbol in here, telling it that's a generator. So if you're like a C or C++ developer, you would know what this asterisk mean, basically a pointer. So a lot of people doesn't like it that much, unfortunately, but they are very important. So you would know what it does that mean. Now we have the function. Let's just go ahead and call this, I don't know, my generator or something. And I'm just gonna give it right here, my generator, just gonna take a value as an argument, simple as that. Now a generator is pretty much as the wait, so we're just gonna like wait for something to happen, then move on to the next way. What I mean by this, it has a very specific keyword as the await, which is the yield keyword. The yield keyword gonna tell the compiler to stop at this specific line till you give it the permission to move on to the next line and execute furthermore code, and so on and so forth. So let's go ahead and yield the value that we have got in here. So the yield just gonna pretty much return to us the value that we have fed it into the function or the generator. And to run the generator, as you remember, we're just gonna call it as a normal function in here. But the generator is like simply different than this. Let's just go ahead running generator or something. So the generator is completely different than that. What you need to expect from a generator, as we are yielding, it's yielding in here. It's the same as the return, but there's like a slight difference between the return keyword and the yield. So you have to expect something to return from this function. Let's just go ahead and hold it on something like result or something like in here. So this is going to be the results we are pretty much going to get from the generator right there. And let's go ahead and try to run the generator. So the results we're going to get in here is not a value, or the value that we have fed in here is not going to be the same, because the yield keyword is just going to like return to us a specific object related to the generator, has a value and a done properties. So let's go ahead and see, like gonna run the node and main.js. Now the node and the main.js, running a normal node compiler in here, get what promised, and running this last. Well, I think I haven't saved my code yet. sorry, let's just go ahead and do that again. So we node main.js, but we're getting nothing. As you can see here, like nothing is happening or nothing. Let's go ahead and see. We're gonna log this out into the console and run this again one more time. As you can see, we get an empty object. Why we are getting an empty object, why this is not yielding back to us, this is mainly because the generator is not going to run till you give it the permission to run. So you have to tell it to run on a very specific data structure. So whenever the generator, what it does, it's just gonna like return an object and a very specific object. So here under the object it returns, there's like 3 methods. So 3 methods. There is like okay, I can't type that. So there is the return, the throw, the next. We need the most important part is the next method. So the next method it's basically gonna tell the generator to move on to the next yield keyword and whatever code comes afterwards or before this yield method or yield keyword pretty much. So this might seem a little bit hard. So by telling the next, it's just going to tell it to go ahead and execute from the start of the function till the first yield keywords it finds. So like runs whatever in here before the first yield. So just going to go ahead and run whatever code you put in here until it reaches the first yield keyword. It stops right there and it yields back the value into an object that you're going to receive right here. So as you can see, we're going to just do the next right here. And let me run the node main.js, and here we go. We've got an object right here, which is value running generator, the value that we have fed into the actual generator, and we get done false. So this done property gonna tell it either the function has been exited or it just like stops or paused in the middle or something. And here in this case, whenever you're calling the yield, you are actually pausing the function. So this parameter gonna tell us if the function has successfully done executing or still some kind of code to be executed or something. So whenever you call the yield, there's gonna be false till it reaches the return. If there's any return, it's just gonna like stay false in here till we run the next iteration and so on and so forth. So as you can see, by calling this next method, you are doing an iteration work. So this is how iteration pretty much works. So you're just gonna call the next, and so on and so forth. So it just works this way. Let's say there's a yield in here. There's like a console log just right before that or after this. I mean, comes after first yield. Okay, after first yield. Then we're gonna have another yield. So this yield is gonna pretty much gonna say value plus done, and yeah, this is what we're gonna do right here. So whenever we call the next, what it does, so simply we could call node.main.js, we're gonna have a value running generator, get done false, but we have nothing in here. We are not running this one. We aren't actually reaching the console log. We are not running or logging that comes after first yield, because the compiler just, whenever you call the first next, it's just going to run whatever before that till it finds the first yield keyword, and it stops right there. No further more afterwards code execution. It just stops right there. Now if you try to go ahead and do another console log, the console log just for like telling you what is going on pretty much. So basically I'm going to call another next method, which pretty much going to take it to the next iteration. So the first one going to run from the first to the first yield method or yield keyword. I don't know why I'm keeping telling it yield. Then the other one just going to run from whatever you posed the first time to whatever comes after it till the next yield keyword, and so on and so forth until it finds or reaches the whole yield keywords, or till it reaches like a return statement. So if we try to return in here like done or something, done forever, so just gonna like exit and say done equals true. So you can do that right here. Let me just go and show you by another console log and response.next. So you can go with node main.js. As you can see, we get value running generator done false, then comes after field yield. After calling this next method, then value running generator done. So we're just gonna like yield this back to you with plus done, and the last thing it's just gonna say value done. That's we have returned it in here. And remember, the done gonna be true whenever you try to called the last return. So this is how generators pretty much work. It might seem a little bit hard, a little bit ugly to look at and understand the first time, but it's pretty much very basic. Take it as a simple iteration homework or an iteration work. So the first iteration, whatever you call the first next, just gonna iterate until the first yield, then the next yield, and so on and so forth till it reaches a return statement, or till it reaches the finish of the actual function or your actual generator. So as you can see, generator pretty much as simple as that. It's a little bit more advanced than this, but this is the basic out of it. This is the simplest thing or the simplest explanation you can get out of the generator. So you can also use it with async or promises, but I don't really advise you to go with that at all, because it's just going to be like very ugly and very hard to understand for other people and so on and so forth. So the best way to use promises, you can use async and await in a very easy way. So that was actually, guys, for this video tutorial. As you can see, we've covered a couple of things with the async and await, just for you guys to understand what is an async and await, why you should consider using it, particularly right now on the ES Next, and also why you should just get rid of this old nasty thing and start using this new API with the promises and all of the different things. Gonna make your life a lot more easier. And also try to explain the generators just very simply and as easy as possible and as fast and quick as possible, because it's just gonna you have to take something out of it and you have to understand generators finally afterwards. So that was actually, guys, for the tutorial. That was very basic, and I told you, and I'll hopefully catch you all in the next video tutorial. We're gonna just do a hell of a lot of other more cool things. So catch you all, guys, in the next one.